Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about my last week in games. And when it comes to EVE Online, I think I've had a pretty good week of EVE Online, probably around average when it comes to game time, but I managed to get quite a few things done. First of all, of course, I went for the blueprint copies for the Orca, so I've not been selling blueprint copies of the structures that much, but I've been making copies for an Orca, and then I moved all of those into Solitude, of course. So in Solitude now, phase 3 is underway, which is the gathering of all the necessary minerals to make the capital parts and then to eventually make the Orca. I do get help offered from other players, but at the moment I'm more looking to do this solo. If I would describe myself and my game style in EVE Online, it's actually very close to being a solo player, and so I want the entire experience. I also want the troubles of gathering all the necessary minerals, trying to sell some stuff maybe, to buy minerals locally, which are a bit more expensive. You know, I want the whole experience, so I'm really going to push for making the Orca completely on my own, in a very remote region, it has to be said. Next to that, I also did a little bit of exploration in the all-in-one Gila, trying to find out if the reduction in tank basically creates a problem in the 4 out of 10s. Now, I've not found any 4 out of 10s just yet, but I actually think that the Gila will perform just fine there. And other than that, in EVE Online, of course, we're now eagerly awaiting the May release, which should be on May 9th, so around 2 weeks. I do think that in the upcoming weeks we might get a mass test as well. CCP usually organizes one a little bit beforehand, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye on all of that, and of course I'll keep you guys up to date. Next up, we have a decent amount of Stellaris as well. I definitely wanted to get a good game going with the Hive Mind, with a collective that tries to reach for the stars. And I have to be honest here, the first part of the game of Stellaris since the expansion hasn't really changed. I feel like it's still extremely important to have a good start that's pretty resource heavy when it comes to energy credits, when it comes to minerals. And so I had to do a few restarts, and I eventually had one where I think I had like 5-6 planets in the first core region, no, not planets but stars with resources in the first core region that you start out with, giving me that nice boost in economy early on, being able to get my mineral count up, being able to keep that going as well with enough energy credits, and then expand to the right planets nearby. And I had like 3 core systems right off the bat, and then I could actually expand not too far out, but far enough to gain 4-5 star systems for every new colony that I created. And as a result, yeah, a strong early economy is still really important. One of the main problems, I think it's maybe because I choose clustered when it comes to the early starts, but if you don't have that, your neighbors are just gonna start colonizing very quickly close to your borders, and they're gonna box you in, and that'll get you into a lot of trouble early on. But on this start, it looks really good. I'm probably the most powerful except for the fallen empires, and now I do look forward to trying to do that decently peacefully. I'm not gonna get into any sort of trouble. I just want to get to those superstructures, get to the new stuff that has been added in the Utopia expansion. I think we'll be able to make it there, and so far the systems do seem to be pretty interesting, but I've not yet unlocked any of the mega structures or anything like that. I'm basically still at the moment terraforming the planets that are within my influence and trying to colonize those up, and basically still increasing my resource base, the size of my empire, through the regular means, through the normal gameplay that we also saw before the Utopia expansion. The Unity system is one thing that's new, and it does give very powerful perks. Personally, I feel that going for the economy first, so prosperity I think it's called, and then expansion is expansion as well, so stuff that will reduce the unity cost for having more colonies. I think that's a very important combination to do early on to get a strong economy and to be able to still expand with enough colonies, but to also get the unity system rolling so that you can get to those 10 core planets. So there are other options, but honestly, if you don't have that early game economy, if you don't have enough energy credits, for instance, you're not going to be able to jumpstart a research based empire or anything like that either. So I really still feel like that is the very important early part, is get the economy going, get your 5 early colonies, and then try to get your unity to work in such a way that you can get to 10 core systems. And after that, of course, that is, I think, when you can go for different routes, and I'm still going for the strong economic route and strong military route as well, without looking for trouble with the neighbors either. We'll see how that works out, but so far in this game it looks pretty good. And finally we have a little bit of Banished. So I played with the Banished City a few evenings last week as well. Not all that much, but of course when the traders come, now I have 3 trading posts running and I do get stone, I have the opportunity to expand pretty aggressively, pretty quickly, which is decently cool. Of course I can basically plonk down a new market, full set of houses around that, and then some facilities. But as I've said, the bottlenecks are sometimes more difficult to spot with this particular build, especially now in food. I basically did run into some food troubles. I saw it every year reduce my food count a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, so I was definitely starting to be in trouble. So I've basically taken a new island with a market and housing, and I'm going to focus very heavily on producing food there to try and rectify the situation. I think that I'll need to do a few more of those as well, just to be on the safe side of things. But it's been going really well in this Banished town. I think I've got like 1,000 people living there now, so I needed an extra church as well all of a sudden, despite already having 4 of them. So that was pretty cool. The city is growing nicely. It's working out really well as well with those compact living centers right around those markets. People get everything that they need very close to home, which means that they need to do very little traveling to stock up their homes, giving them ample time to do their jobs, for instance. But as I've said, I do get a lot of extra population. Sometimes we're even pushing 200 at the moment, that are basically free laborers that can do whatever they want, and that basically does give you that ability to set up several extra farms or set up several extra food production facilities or wood production facilities or anything else that you need depending on the situation. But it is more reactionary, so you're seeing, oh, we're actually starting to decrease in that resource, gotta do something about that. And yeah, then of course I'm still dependent very much on the imports of stone, and I still feel 100% that firewood is the easiest and the best trade currency for that. I know that people are going for tools and things like that, but I feel like I cannot spare the iron either, which I'm importing as well. And so firewood, just get that extra wood production going, get a few extra firewood guys running as well, and then you've got ample stuff to trade with. And that's been working the best for me, honestly, especially now that I have had to import food to keep the situation from spiraling out of control. So that was it for my week, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.